All right, I'll dive right in. I've got a story that's been eating at me for months, and honestly, I need to get it out somewhere. Maybe it's for some kind of advice, or maybe just to vent. Either way, it's about my wife, Emily, and how I found out she was cheating on me right before our wedding. Yeah, right before we were supposed to tie the knot. Crazy, right? But it happened, and the details are so messed up I still can't believe I missed all the signs. Emily and I had been together for about 3 years. Things weren't perfect, but I thought we were solid. She was always a bit bitchy and manipulative. She loved to twist words, throw tantrums, make herself out to be the victim, and always had some excuse for everything. But I loved her, or at least I wanted to believe I did. She was gorgeous, ambitious, and she seemed to have this magnetic charm that people couldn't resist. I was blinded, honestly. I thought she was the one. The first signs of trouble started around 5 months before the wedding. She was acting oddly distant, secretive even. She'd cancel plans last minute or suddenly be too busy at work. I noticed she'd started deleting her texts more often, which was weird because she used to be pretty open about her phone. When I'd ask, she'd brush it off with some sarcastic comment about privacy, calling me paranoid. Yeah, I was suspicious, but I didn't want to be that guy. I trusted her, or at least I wanted to. Then she started coming home late more often. She'd say she was working late or meeting with her boss, Jason. She'd call him just a coworker, but I caught her laughing a little too much at his texts, and her tone when she talked about him was different than with her other friends. I'd see her sneaking her phone away, typing fast, and I'd wonder why she'd get so defensive if I asked who she was texting. She'd tell me I was overthinking, that I was insecure, that she loved me. But I knew better. Something was off. One night I decided I couldn't ignore it anymore. I'd been really suspicious about her and Jason at work, so I decided to check her phone. I mean, I didn't want to, but I was tired of feeling like I was going crazy. I figured maybe I'd find something that explained her weird behavior. I waited till she went to bed, snuck into her purse, and started scrolling. That's when I saw it, the texts. There were hundreds, really, but one message caught my eye. It was from Jason saying, "Can't wait to see you tonight. I've missed you." I froze. My stomach sank. My hands started trembling. I couldn't believe what I was reading. That wasn't just some innocent work banter. It was something more, something secret and dirty. I read a few more, and it was clear they had been sneaking around for weeks. There were plans to meet, kisses, flirtations. My wife was having sex with her boss right before our wedding. I couldn't breathe. It was like my entire world collapsed in that moment. I wanted to scream, cry, punch something. Instead, I quietly snapped a screenshot of the conversation, put her phone back, and just sat there, staring at the ceiling. I felt numb. All those feelings, love, trust, hope, just evaporated. I had no idea how to even process what I just discovered. I kept thinking about the upcoming wedding, the vows we were supposed to make, and instead I saw a future with her as a lie. How could she do this? How could she lie so effortlessly, manipulate me, and then go ahead with the wedding like nothing was wrong? It was like she was actively trying to ruin us. The worst part was her personality. She's manipulative, always trying to spin things around on me. When I confronted her the next day, she was a master at twisting words, denying everything, and making herself out to be the victim. She said I was paranoid, that I was projecting, that Jason was just a friend from work, and I was overreacting because I was insecure. But I knew better. I had the proof. It was right there. Still, she kept lying, kept gaslighting me, telling me I was crazy and jealous. I felt like I was losing my mind, caught in her web of lies. So that's where I am now. On the brink of our wedding, having caught her in a lie that shatters everything I thought I knew about her. I don't even know what to do next. The betrayal is one thing, but her lies, her manipulations, they hurt even more. It's like she's haunting me with her words, her excuses, her damn manipulative face, even after I know what she's done. Honestly, I feel like I'm stuck in a nightmare and I don't see a way out yet. After I found out about the texts, everything changed. I couldn't look at her the same way anymore. The woman I was supposed to marry, the woman I loved, she was a liar. A manipulative, selfish liar. I kept replaying that moment in my head, the moment I realized she had been betraying me while pretending everything was perfect. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and so angry. How could she do this so easily? How could she lie to my face, smile at me, act like she was the perfect fiancé? I was furious, but mostly I was hurt, deeply hurt. I felt like I had been played for a fool all along. The day I confronted her was a nightmare. I didn't even want to do it face to face at first, but I knew I had to. I remember walking into the living room, my hands trembling, holding her phone. She was there, sitting on the couch, looking all bitchy and annoyed that I was bothering her. I told her I knew everything, the texts, the plans, everything. Her eyes widened for a split second, but then she just rolled her eyes and tried to brush it off. She started with her usual bullshit, saying I was paranoid, that Jason was just a coworker, that I was overthinking because I didn't trust her. "You're crazy, Mike," she snapped, crossing her arms, her voice dripping with disdain. "You always jump to conclusions. You think every guy wants to sleep with me, huh? You're so insecure, it's honestly pathetic." Her tone was so dismissive, like she was insulted, that I even suspected her. I just stared at her, feeling a mix of rage and despair. I had all that proof, and she was acting like I was the problem. She kept lying, denying everything, twisting her words, trying to make me feel like I was the one losing it. But I wasn't going to be fooled anymore. I told her I knew she was sleeping with him, that I saw the messages, and I wanted her to own up. She looked at me like I was some kind of crazy stalker, then calmly said, "Well, if you knew, why didn't you tell me? You're just insecure. Seriously, Mike, you're overreacting because you're jealous. You're insecure about losing me, that's all this is." That was the moment I realized how cold and manipulative she could be. She was so good at making herself the victim, even when she was the one cheating. It was like she had rehearsed her lies, her excuses, to get out of any blame. I was boiling inside. I wanted to scream, to shake her, to do something that would make her see how much she was hurting me. But instead, I just stood there, trembling, and told her I couldn't do this anymore. That I couldn't marry someone who lied and cheated, someone who played me like a fool. She just looked at me with that bitchy smirk, like she thought she was winning. And honestly, I don't think she even believed her own lies. She was just used to manipulating everyone into doing what she wanted. That's her MO, but the thing is, inside I was shattered. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. All those dreams about our future, about building a life together, just evaporated in that moment. I started questioning everything, her love, my judgment, whether I ever really knew her at all. I knew I had to get out of there to get some space. I told her I was done, that I needed time to think. She rolled her eyes again, told me I was overreacting, that I'd regret pushing her away. That made me even more furious. Who was she to tell me what I'd regret? The aftermath was a blur. I collected myself, packed a bag, and left. I needed to get away from her, clear my head. I didn't talk to her for days after that. I kept replaying the conversation in my mind, trying to make sense of it all, trying to understand how someone so manipulative could pretend to be so innocent. I kept thinking about everything she said, all her lies, and how she could look me in the eye and deny it all. The betrayal hit hard, but her lies, they cut even deeper. It's one thing to discover an affair, but it's another to realize you've been played so well that even your gut was fooled. Now I'm sitting here, trying to process what I've learned, trying to decide what the hell to do next. The wedding, still scheduled, but honestly I don't know if I can go through with it. It's like I don't even recognize her anymore, and the worst part, her manipulative lies still haunt me more than the betrayal itself. They keep echoing in my head, making me doubt everything I thought I knew about her. I keep asking myself if I was blind or if she was just that good at lying. Either way, the trust is gone, completely gone. After I walked out that day, I thought I'd feel relief, maybe even some sense of closure. Instead, I was just numb. The betrayal hit hard, but what really tore me up was knowing how she lied, so effortlessly, so convincingly. That manipulative side of her, the way she twisted everything around, made me start questioning everything I'd ever believed about her. I kept thinking about all those times she told me I was paranoid or insecure whenever I caught her sneaking around. It was her way of gaslighting me, making me doubt my perceptions so she could keep her affair hidden longer. The worst part was how she kept refining her lies, how she would flip everything around to make herself look innocent. She accused me of being controlling, jealous, or crazy. She'd say, You're ruining everything because you can't handle me having a life outside you. That really cut deep, the idea that I was the one at fault for questioning her. She was so good at playing the victim, it made my head spin. I remember her smirking during her little monologues, her eyes cold and calculating, like she was trying to control the narrative even now. I didn't sleep much those nights. I'd lie awake, replaying her words, her fake apologies, her tears, whatever she threw at me to make me doubt myself. I started questioning if I'd been blind all along. Were her manipulative lies so ingrained that I'd missed every warning sign? I kept thinking about her attitude, how she'd always play the victim, how she'd twist my words, accuse me of not trusting her. Whenever I got suspicious, all those little signs which now seemed glaring just slipped right past me. She was so convincing, so charming when she wanted to be, then cold and bitchy when she didn't get her way. Honestly, I felt like I was losing my mind. The emotional roller coaster was relentless. I went from anger, flaming, uncontrollable, to sadness that cracked my chest open. I realized I had no control over her anymore, not after how good she was at lying. I kept asking myself, did I ever really know her? Or was I just fooling myself that she was the woman I wanted to marry? That question haunted me every day. It's like I was staring into a mirror trying to see the truth, but all I saw was a distorted reflection of someone I no longer recognized. Despite everything, part of me still hesitated. Maybe I was in denial, maybe I still clung to the hope that she'd come clean and we could fix this. But deep down, I knew that was pointless. She was a master manipulator, and if there's one thing I learned, it's that liars don't change overnight, especially not ones who have built their entire personality around deception. I started to see her for who she really was, somebody who lied effortlessly, who used her charm and manipulative lies to get what she wanted, and who would deny, gaslight, and manipulate until she got her way. The day I finally decided I couldn't go through with the wedding, I was relieved but also terrified. It felt like waking from a nightmare, but also like I'd been betrayed even more deeply. I realized that the betrayal wasn't just her cheating, it was her complete disregard for my feelings, her lying and manipulation that had shattered whatever trust we once had. I knew I couldn't marry her, not anymore. I couldn't sign up for a life built on lies and deception. The most unsettling part is how her manipulative lies still haunt me. Every time I start to doubt myself, those lies come back. Her voice, her excuses, her fake tears. They echo in my mind like some cruel soundtrack. It's like she's still trying to control me, even from afar. I've started to go to therapy, trying to piece myself back together, trying to understand how someone so manipulative could have been so good at hiding her true nature. I need to rebuild my trust in myself, but honestly, it's going to take a long time. The betrayal cut so deep, but her lies, they cut even deeper because they made me doubt everything I believed in. Now I'm trying to move forward. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'll never look at relationships the same way again. I learned that manipulative people can be so convincing that they can make you doubt your own mind. I learned that some betrayals are so calculated that they make you question your entire reality. If you're ever in a situation like this, my advice is this: trust your gut. Don't let anyone gaslight you into thinking you're crazy. And most of all, don't stay with someone who manipulates and lies just to keep control. It's not worth your sanity or your happiness. I guess, in the end, I'm just glad I caught her before it was too late. I'm still hurting, but I'm starting to see the light. I don't know if I'll ever forget what she did, but I do know I won't let her lies define me. I'm taking back control of my life, piece by piece. The decision to call off the wedding didn't come easily, but once I made up my mind, everything else felt like a blur. I needed space to breathe, to process what had happened, and to figure out what I truly wanted. Honestly, I was torn between anger and sadness, but deep down, I knew I couldn't go through with marrying someone who had lied to me so blatantly. The betrayal had cut too deep, and her manipulative lies haunted me every waking moment. In the days that followed, I started to take deliberate steps to cut her out of my life. I changed my number, blocked her on social media, deleted every message, every photo, everything that reminded me of her. It was part of my healing process, trying to erase the toxic memory she left behind. But even as I did that, her words kept echoing in my head. Her lies, the way she'd spin her stories, her fake tears, her dismissive attitude, all of it played like a loop I couldn't shut off. I wondered how someone could be so convincing, so manipulative, and yet so broken inside. I also reached out to a close friend, someone I trust implicitly, to talk about what I'd discovered. I'd kept things bottled up because I didn't want to seem weak or overly emotional, but I knew I needed support. My friend Jake listened patiently as I explained everything, the texts, the confrontation, her lies. He was furious, too. Said I was a damn fool for trusting her in the first place. That made me feel a little better, knowing I wasn't crazy, that someone else saw how deeply I'd been played. Still, it didn't lessen the pain of the betrayal. The more I thought about her manipulative lies, the angrier I got. She convinced herself she was clever, that she could get away with anything because she always knew how to spin it right. She'd pretend to be the victim, cry fake tears, and make me out to be the bad guy. I kept asking myself how she managed to keep up that act for so long, how she could be so cold and calculating. I realized that her entire personality was built on lies and manipulation. She knew exactly how to make herself look innocent while hiding her true self. It was sickening. What also struck me was how little she cared about the damage she caused. She never apologized, never showed any remorse. Instead, she doubled down, tried to blame me, and accused me of being insecure or controlling. That's her tactic: flip the script, make me doubt myself, and continue manipulating until I felt like I was losing my mind. I swear she's a master at gaslighting. She's so good at fake emotional displays, crying fake tears, acting like she's the victim. But it's all an act. Beneath that fake exterior is a cold, manipulative woman who will do anything to get what she wants. During those days, I also started to think about my own boundaries. I realized I'd let her walk all over me for too long, ignoring the red flags, forgiving the lies because I wanted to believe the best in her. But I couldn't keep doing that. I had to protect myself. I needed to take control of my life again. That meant no more excuses, no more justifications. She was gone from my life emotionally, mentally, and physically. I blocked her number, and I told myself I wouldn't let her lies haunt me forever. I've since started therapy, trying to understand how someone so manipulative could be so convincing, so charming on the surface, yet so cold and calculating underneath. It's a long road, but I want to rebuild my trust in myself. I want to learn that I don't have to be manipulated or lied to. I want to be stronger, smarter. I'm still angry. I'm still hurting. But I'm also learning. Learning to trust my gut, trusting that I deserve honesty and respect, and that I won't settle for less ever again. Looking back, I realize I was naive. I wanted to see the good in her, to believe that she was the woman I fell in love with, but her true nature was hidden behind a facade of charm and manipulation. I should have seen the signs, her secretive texts, her dismissiveness, her gaslighting, but I didn't want to believe it. Now I do. Now I see her for what she really was, a lying, manipulative bitch who played me for weeks. That realization hurts more than I thought it would, but it's also a wake-up call. I won't let anyone pull that kind of crap on me again. Ever. After cutting her out of my life completely, I started focusing on myself. It wasn't easy. The betrayal had left a gaping hole, and I kept waking up with a sick feeling in my stomach. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, that smug expression she always wore when she was lying. It felt like I'd been duped by the woman I'd trusted the most, but I knew I had to move on for my own sanity. That's what kept me going, reminding myself that I deserved better, that I wasn't going to let her manipulate me anymore. I threw myself into work and started exploring new hobbies. I went to the gym more often, which helped a lot, lifting heavy stuff and getting my adrenaline going. I also started seeing a therapist regularly, which was a game changer. Talking to someone neutral helped me sort through all the anger, sadness, and confusion. My therapist helped me see that her lies weren't a reflection of my worth, but rather her own deep-seated issues. That realization was tough but necessary. I had to accept that her manipulative behavior was about her, not me. One thing I realized during this healing process was how much her lies had affected my self-esteem. I kept questioning whether I was naive, whether I had missed something obvious. But my therapist explained that abusers and manipulators are experts at hiding their true selves, and victims often blame themselves because they want to believe they're at fault. That was a pattern I'd fallen into, but I knew I couldn't keep doing that. I had to rebuild my confidence piece by piece. It was a long, slow journey. Some days were worse than others, especially when I'd stumble across some reminder of her. A song, a place we used to go, a piece of clothing I forgot I still had. Every little thing seemed to bring back the memory of her lies and betrayal, but I forced myself to keep moving forward. I started dating casually, just trying to remind myself that not everyone is manipulative or a liar. It was tricky though. I felt guarded, suspicious of everyone, scared of ending up in another toxic relationship. The biggest lesson I've learned is about trust. I used to believe that honesty was the foundation of a relationship. Now I know that trust must be earned, especially after betrayal like this. I've also learned that manipulative people are experts at pretending to be something they're not, and you have to listen to your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. I ignored that voice too many times with Emily, and I paid for it. I'm still healing, still trying to forget her manipulative lies that haunt me sometimes in my sleep. But I'm also stronger now. I see the world with a clearer perspective. I realize that no matter how charming or perfect someone seems, you need to watch for red flags, like secretive behavior, dismissiveness, or gaslighting. Because once you fall for the lies, it's a long road back to trusting yourself. I wish I'd seen it all earlier, but I guess that's part of the lesson. Now I can honestly say I'm better off without her. The betrayal hurt so deeply, but I refuse to let her lies define me. I want to rebuild my life with honesty, respect, and trust, things she never truly gave. If I could give one piece of advice to anyone in my situation, it would be, trust your gut and don't ignore the red flags. Manipulative people can be so convincing that they make you doubt your own perceptions. But deep down, your instincts know the truth. Don't let anyone manipulate or lie their way into your life. It's not worth your happiness. I'm still on that journey, but I know I'll get there eventually. Looking back now, I realize how much this whole ordeal has changed me. The pain, the betrayal, the manipulative lies, it all leaves scars, but they're scars that remind me I'm still here, still standing. I never thought I'd be that guy, the one who gets played so badly that it takes him months to put himself back together. But I am. And I've learned some hard truths along the way that I don't think I could have learned any other way. One thing I've come to accept is that not everyone is who they seem to be. Emily was a perfect example of that. She knew exactly how to put on a charming face, how to twist her words, how to manipulate everyone around her, especially me. But now I see through the mask. I see her lies for what they were, attempts to control, to deceive, to hide the truth of who she really was. And honestly, I feel relieved that I finally caught her. That realization set me free in a way. It's like shedding a heavy coat I didn't realize I'd been wearing for years. The experience has also made me more cautious, more aware. I don't rush into relationships anymore. I take my time, listen to my instincts, and pay attention to the red flags I once ignored. I refuse to be manipulated again, and I want to be with someone who's honest, respectful, and genuine. Someone who doesn't need to lie or cheat behind my back. That's what I deserve, and I hope everyone reading this understands that too. Never settle for less. Your worth isn't determined by how someone manipulates you. It's about how you respect yourself and demand honesty. In the end, I've come to see this painful chapter as a lesson. A brutal, eye-opening lesson about trust, manipulation, and self-worth. It's taught me to listen more closely to my gut, to trust my instincts, and to never ignore the red flags, no matter how charming or convincing someone seems. Manipulative people are experts at hiding their true selves, but your intuition is often the best defense. If something doesn't sit right, it probably isn't right. Protect yourself always. And to anyone who's going through something similar, just know you're not alone. It hurts like hell, but you will heal. Time is your friend, and so is your own self-respect. Cut out the lies, the manipulation, and the toxic people. Focus on rebuilding yourself, because at the end of the day, you deserve honesty and love from someone who truly cares, not someone who manipulates or lies to get what they want. This story is about betrayal, but it's also about growth, about reclaiming your life after it's been shattered. I'm still healing, still learning, but I'm stronger than I was yesterday. And I'll keep getting stronger every day, because I refuse to let her lies define me. I am my own person, and I'm done with the manipulation. I will trust again, just a lot more carefully. And I'll never forget what I've learned. Trust your gut, listen to your instincts, and never let someone manipulate you into losing yourself.